Hi everyone, welcome back to the 47th Scotch Podcast. I'm Roxy and today I'm joined with Lucas, Abby and Penny, who all recently went on international school trips. We'll firstly start off with a quick introduction, so could you all please tell me what trip you went on?
I'm Lucas. I went on the China cultural immersion trip.
I'm Abby and I went on the Borneo service trip.
I'm Penny, the 2025 Ag Ambassador, and I went on the agriculture trip to New Zealand.
So Lucas, what made you pick the China tour?
I hadn't been to China before. It's also quite an experience.
Abby, a moment that still sticks in your head from Borneo.
I think anyone who was on the Borneo trip would agree that the most significant moment for us was when we were staying at a village in Bangkok, and we had a chance to teach little kids from about 8 to 12 English, and it was just the sweetest moment. We were so integrated into the community, and like everyone was so engaging, and I think that's what really stuck with us leaving the trip. And I know a few people cried having to leave the kids that we taught. So
Cute. Penny, one thing you'll bring back to school life from the New Zealand Ag trip?
I think, just in general, we got a lot of knowledge about especially products and technology that was being made in New Zealand. And I think trying to apply a lot of that and then now on our farm here and seeing what benefit does it have actually here on Scotch Farm and in the small part of the Adelaide, so that we can expand it to different farms across Australia and just increase agriculture production. So, yeah.
Yeah. So Lucas, what cultural experiences or landmarks stood out to you the most in China?
I reckon the Great Wall of China is one of the coolest experiences. Quite large wall and everything. It's a myth, actually, that people died during the construction of the wall and they're still inside of the wall.
Oh.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
pretty interesting. Yeah.
Abby, in Borneo, what service projects did you help with? Because I know I saw a few photos because a few of my friends went there, but what did you participate in while you were there?
so I feel like the most backbreaking, and probably it took up the majority of the work that we did, was actually we were hand mixing cement to help build a drainage system across the village so that there would be improved water sanitation and stuff. But I would say a lot of people really liked the reforestation that we did. There was moments where we actually had to cut down some of the forest to replant native trees there rather than the species that they didn't want. And definitely a few people got a bit too excited about that. But we ended up replanting, I think, 60 trees as part of our service in just under an hour. So that was really, really amazing. And also, obviously, teaching little kids English to help them get more opportunities in the future. Yeah. And there's a lot of little service things, just doing it around the village that are all preparing to make it actually a geopark for the village so that it can bring in more tourism and stuff.
Was Borneo what you expected? Did you go there expecting something and it being totally different to what you first thought?
I would say definitely the kids were really different. I was kind of expecting village kids with more traditional values, but they one of the least expected moments for me was when I was playing badminton with some of the girls, and they were about 10, and when they won a point on me, they actually started mewing. And these are kids that are 5 hours away from a city. They've got 5 cell phones between them, and they still knew the mewing and stuff.
Oh my God.
So that definitely caught everyone a bit off guard. But still wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, good memory. Penny, what was the most fascinating thing you learned about farming or agriculture in New Zealand?
We went to a research facility which is related to the Auckland University, and they do a lot of crossover. And they were doing a lot of research on sheep and just general production. And they were talking to us about it, and a lot of the stuff that they were doing there actually correlated to issues in people and or health issues in people. And I think the whole group, we were quite fascinated with the amount of research they were doing specifically in sheep that was then being crossed over in hospital systems and being advanced in hospital systems to help people, which was really amazing, but also just wow.
Yeah. Have you ever been to New Zealand before?
I have, but for this trip, we were in the North Island, I've been south, and they're quite different,
Yeah.
especially in terms of agriculture, from
Yeah.
what I saw.
Oh, lovely. Back to Lucas. Anything about Chinese culture that surprised you while you were over there?
During the dinners, using the whole chicken or duck, so you'd eat the head as well.
Oh, did
Yeah, I
you
don't
eat the
think-
head?
I was going to, nah, but it wasn't enough money for me to get me to try it. So yeah,
Oh my gosh. Did anyone else?
I think Maxwell did.
Mr. Maxwell?
No, Maxwell Norris, like in year 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Abby, back to you. Working alongside locals, what felt different to everyday school life?
I mean, I think it's one of those experiences that you just don't get in Australia. Like, the amount of service that you can provide for these people just wouldn't be applicable in school. But I think, especially in a like day-to-day setting, you definitely notice the difference of like children are walking to school. They're not like being driven to school. The like routines of the students are completely different. They're a lot more academically focused, I'd say. But also even in the schools, it's like so much more colourful and stuff. And that's actually because, you know, they want to encourage more kids to go to primary school, since it's like it's only just starting to become like it's actually mandatory. So the kids are actually a lot more passionate to learn, because it's actually more of a like new opportunity and choice for them to be able to learn. So, and I think that's really special, and definitely something that Scotchies could start to apply about, because the school's got such great opportunities and stuff, and I would love to see more Scotchies taking full like advantage of those things that we've got available to us here.
Yeah, I love that. Penny, last question. Outside of agriculture, what was one memorable experience you had? Maybe cultural, social, or scenic?
I think everyone would agree. There's 2 moments, I think, which would really stand out for everyone on the trip, and they were on the same day. And one of them was the cultural experience we did, which was a nighttime thing, and we went to this place, and it's fully fenced off, and like no like people outside of the Maori culture can basically get in unless you're doing this tour experience. And they take you around the site. It's all just native native New Zealand bush and everything, and there's geysers and there's all these hot pools, and it was like amazing. And we then got to have this dinner, and it was all like Maori food, and like half of it was traditionally cooked as well, and it was like everyone said they walked away with like food coma because we ate so much food. Like it was just a buffet spread. And then like they did this cultural show, and it was amazing, and like that was like a big stand up for everyone in the group. And then early in the day we went luging, which is basically just downhill go-karting.
Yeah.
And we were in the middle of a tropical cyclone technically when we were in New Zealand, and so it was raining for most of the trip.
Yeah.
And the day we went luging, it was pouring with rain, but we all said, nope, let's do it, let's go. And we all just went down this track like 6 times. By the time we finished, we were dripping, like soaked in water, but it just made it so much funner. And like It was a real bonding experience, because we all said, let's go, let's do the same tracks, let's race each other. And like I remember me and Ben, we like crashed at one point, like went rolling down because it was just so slippery, but it was definitely stand out.
Yeah, it's going to be a memory that you remember forever.
Mm.
Kind of open to you all. If you could go on this trip again, would you?
Yeah, I'd probably go again, just because such a good experience. But there's probably still a lot more of China to experience. We've only seen more of the touristy spots. Like to see more local, traditional spots. Yeah.
Is there anything you wish you could have done more while you were there? Because I know while you're there, it seems like a long time, but when you leave, it's like, wow, that was like really quick. So same with you, and yeah.
Yeah, probably eat some crickets. I think, my parents, they said there was crickets you could eat there. So I was going to try them, but we didn't get to it.
Try any other food that maybe you wouldn't eat on a daily basis? That's not crickets or a duck head?
Yeah, maybe chicken leg. Yeah, chicken leg's pretty good, yeah.
Did you eat that?
Yeah, it tastes like chicken. Yeah.
Shock. Abby?
I think definitely I would love to go back to Borneo. There's a lot of work still to be done in Bongkot, but they're actually, after opening the area in 2010, they're actually, in the next 2 years, they're going to be finished and
Oh.
open for new tourists. So I'd love to go back to Borneo, but probably work in a new spot because I feel like there's still definitely a lot of work to be done across the country, but maybe not the specific place that we went.
Yeah.
I would definitely go again. It was so much fun. We compared to like your trips, we had a much smaller group of kids. We had like only 11 students, so
Yeah.
it was much smaller. But we all got along. We all had so much fun. We all learned a lot, as well as like we had a good time.
Yeah.
So I'll totally do it again.
Again, yeah, I wish I could. Well, I obviously didn't go any this year because year 12 trying to balance everything, but I wish I had that experience too. So definitely would recommend that to the younger year levels as they move up. Abby, question for you. How did you find camping outside and sleeping outside, obviously in the jungle?
Yeah, I think I personally I found it the best sleep that we'd had so
Really?
far. Yeah. Sleeping in hammocks is definitely not something that everyone can get behind though, and I definitely know that there was a few people in our group who really, really struggled to stay the whole night in their hammocks. But after the first night, even if it was only 3 hours of sleep for some people, we all got through, and I think that was a massive accomplishment. Miss Wallace, unfortunately, did not get through unscathed.
Oh, I heard about that. Did she get bitten by a centipede?
She got bitten by a poisonous centipede and had to go to the hospital the next day. But everyone else had an amazing time in the jungle.
I'm so glad. Poor Miss Wallace. Each of you, could you please summarise why travel is valuable to you? Lucas, you don't want to go first?
Oh, yeah.
No, you don't have to. Penny, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think it's really good to get life experience and to learn things also about yourself. And I know, again, on our trip, traveling over, it was 2 flights.
Yeah.
There was definitely complications, but we learned. There was some funny complications where
Oh
people
my God, do you want to share?
So we'd landed in Auckland, everyone's there, we got off the plane and we're getting through the first level of security and doing all the passport scannings before we even get our bags or anything. And we get there and we're all off the plane and Mr. Reid, he goes, okay, can everyone pull out your passport so we can see that you've got them? And everyone pulls it out and then Tom just goes, I don't have my passport. And we're like, what do you mean? He's like, I think it's still on the plane. So him and Mr. would run all the way back to, we've been out of the plane for 20 minutes and who knows if they could even get back in. They were running to go get his passport. They luckily found it. It was in the back of the seat pocket.
Oh
And then
my God.
then on the way home, we all just said to him, do you have your passport? Do you have show us your passport? But because we were like, if you didn't have it, we were like, what's going to happen?
What are you going to do, get left there?
Yeah, but it was definitely it was one of those things where it's you learn, remember things and how to pack in as well. Because for us, we were moving around every 3 days.
Yeah.
So we couldn't just fully unpack our suitcases. We had to be very organised.
You didn't have your parents there to remind you,
No.
grab your bag,
No.
grab everything you need.
Yeah, and even for the girls, there were points where the girls were also, there was one girl rooming by herself, so she had to make sure you
my
don't have
God.
your friend to remind you,
Yeah.
do you have everything? Or
Yeah.
I found this. You have to be make sure you've got everything before we leave because there was no going back.
Yeah, you can't.
So
Gotta keep moving. Abby?
I would say travel is valuable because there's some things that we will never understand. And I feel like it's, as an Australian, you're so isolated in the world. And I think if you don't see the world around you, then you won't care about it. And I think the drive and the passion to care and help people across the world is so important. And if you never see it, and if you never are there to experience it yourself, and if you never see the work that needs to be done, you won't do it. So I would say that knowledge is power, and that knowledge is the power to help others where you can.
Very inspiring. Actually, I'm very inspired. I love that. Lucas?
I reckon traveling is valuable because it opens your eyes to all the cultures. Really, like what Abby said, really closed in Australia. I think it's just opening your eyes to the problems going on in other places in the world and maybe trying to figure out some way to solve that. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Lucas. Thanks, Abby. And thanks, Penny, for joining me on the podcast today. Catch you next time on episode 48. Is it done?
Yeah.